evening, everybody, and welcome to Movie Night. My name is John Woods. I'm the director of program at Nighthawk Cinema. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight and watching. We did an event for this back in 2013 in person, and I want to thank everybody for coming back. A little bit of info about Movie Night. It's an online platform where new films can screen nationwide, the old film in the case tonight, for a set time across the audience, for an audience across the country, and watch together, followed by a live stream Q&A, which we're going to be getting into in a second here. And everybody who buys a ticket, they'll select their favorite local independent cinema to receive the net proceeds. So it's really cool. Everybody that came out to support this tonight. I'm at Nighthawk Cinema, and it's an independent film and cinema. Buying a ticket tonight, you're really supporting independent theaters, which are, we're all kind of struggling right now because doesn't really work with an audience, what we do. And I had video stores before I started Nighthawk with these people. So combining the two experiences tonight is pretty cool, all things considered. And Nighthawk usually does food and drink specials for the film, so inspired by the film. So tonight, just cheers. And we'll start the Q&A. Welcome to the floor, everybody. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, I don't know how this works.
It's the first time too, so I hope I don't suck. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. This is really cool. And I hope everybody's been doing well. And it's we did this back in 2013 at Nighthawk, and some of you were there, so good to see you again if I met you before. Really, just have to ask this in the beginning. What's the strangest thing about, we were just talking about before, about the last few months of your life?
Well, I just turned on the news and it's nuts. I haven't watched anything since 2016, and what the F? I mean, things are upside down. So I'm not the guy to ask.
I mean, the strangest thing for me is that I can't do anything or go anywhere or see friends or family or live any part of a normal semblance of my life.
I feel you.
For me, it's just like when I go into a Walmart without a mask on and everyone's so tense about it. I feel like that's been a bummer, like kind of not understanding my need to breathe.
Mine is just the weirdest thing, I think, for me is just seeing all my male friends with really long hair. It makes me a little physically uncomfortable, but also a little fun. So I'm into this, you guys.
Yeah, the weirdest thing for me is getting used to Blaise's life as a farmer.
Yeah, that's what I'm all about now.
Yeah.
What do you raise, Blaise? What do you grow?
Turnips.
Turnips.
Oh, just solely turnips.
Wow, that's America's last vegetable.
For sure.
Wait, what happened to all the other ones?
So he means America Ferrera.
Oh.
I meant it's the
vegetables.
Can't eat any of the others. None.
Wait, is something happening, you guys? I'm confused. Is there something going on? I'm with David. Like, should I be doing something different?
Are you gonna flaunt the Canadian habitat in our faces?
It's pretty great.
Oh, I'm so sick of.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of I'm not sick of Canadians. I'm sick of being in America, in Canada, having to hear about how horrible America is. Not America Ferrera, by the way. They love you, but it's I'm not gonna flaunt it. Don't worry. I'm
jealous. I'm deeply jealous.
A big giant tear in my New Yorker face, missing New York.
Actually,
you should get that tattooed. Just get it tattooed there.
Like a prison tattoo, sure, that'd be cool. That would be where starting for me.
I have a question for Todd, actually, to something I've been thinking about. 'Cause I remember seeing this in 2013 in Nighthawk and thinking it was like, I might even said it. It was like Night of the Living Dead or The Thing meets like Murder by Death or Clue or something like that. What was your inspiration to do, like an ensemble cast, like, stuck together with other stuff happening?
Yeah, well, the very original idea was I had read this article about how Night of the Living Dead, the 60s Romero movie, was in the public domain because they forgot to renew the copyright.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you know what I should do is I should get Night of the Living Dead and recut all the zombie footage with new footage that I'll shoot with in black and white with actors, and I'll cut it together kind of like Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. And then I realized that would be really hard. Like, it'd be really hard to fake the footage and get in production design and anything. But then I like this idea of a bunch of couples getting together and then something horrible happens outside. And so then I came up with a dirty bomb or terrorist attack, or you're not really sure, but and I just stuck with that idea, and yeah, kind of just grew from there.
So for the cast too, had you anybody read anything like this or seen these kind of movies like you just described, and what was your approach to your characters with that in mind? Had you seen anything like that before? Anybody can jump on.
Erinn? Erinn?
Hello?
All right. Well, I mean, what Todd was saying, I did, when I read it initially, just love the conceit that you don't ever really know what's going on. You don't know what's out there, that it is very much this like parlor relationship comedy. And then there happens to be this great unknown outside that is killing people, you know. But that the reason that what really drew me to it was just the relationships and the comedy and the writing of it. David?
Blaise?
Yep. I had not seen a movie prior to
Oh.
I mean, I'd seen ones that I was in, but you know, a lot of actors just don't watch movies that they're in. I strictly just watch ones that I'm in. So I hope that answers the question.
I've to date, I've only seen Steamboat Willie. That's the only movie I've seen. We'll see. And
so one from Meredith. Meredith asks, at what point in the development of the film did you get the idea to have the 1812 overture cut off at the beginning to foreshadow the final moment being cut off at the end? From Meredith.
Oh, well, so originally when we were going to do the movie, we were going to do it for as cheap as possible. And if you want to do something as cheap as possible, you use classical music because it's public domain. And so I just wanted a song that was going to be like builds and builds and builds and builds, and then gets cut off right at the good part. And so I just knew that the 1812 overture was kind of famous for like building forever. So even the first draft of the script, it was written in because the intention was to fill the movie with free music or cheap music. And that was, to me, the most famous free piece of music that was famous for building to some big giant crescendo. So from the start. And it was always originally in the script that it would then come back at the end. And the script never had an ending. The movie never had an ending at any point. And when everyone first read it, they were all on board. And I remember David, when I first met David to talk about it, he's like, I love the ending. And if you change this ending, I'm out. Like if you have like the SWAT team show up, like he's like, I love it. It's perfect. Don't change it. And I did. And we never really felt pressure to change it.
All right.
I think that's one of the things about the movie in general is just that it's these like normal human silly moments and relationships in the midst of this pandemic or apocalypse or, you know, the end of the world. And that's sort of a side note. It's more about these people and the what goes on inside the house versus anything outside the house.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And one, I think the key to this movie is that it really the dialogue is very natural. The acting is natural. It's not arch. You're not trying. There's not jokes and funny one-liners aren't like shoehorned in there. And that's one of the things that immediately drew me to the script, which I got through America. And it's just like that's the way people talk. And what a pleasure as an actor to get to do that, you know.
And also now it hits in 2020, it hits home even more the idea of being trapped in a house. Like that's now we all kind of all understand what that experience is like, and the good moments, the bad moments, the funny moments, the crazy moments. I understand that way more now than I did in 2011.
I was thinking about the movie, I just like hated all of these characters because they got to be locked in their house without children. And I was like, right, there's no kids. What the fuck were they complaining about? Like, they were drinking and doing drugs and like having stupid arguments, and no one, was having to keep their children from jumping out of a 10th floor window. So, I just think that it's all bullshit. This movie sucks.
Oh my God, Todd, you should do a sequel where now we have children. We're trapped in the house and have to do homeschooling.
Oh,
It's a family disaster.
Did we ever leave, or are we just all still in the house? Only now we've had kids who have
They're
never.
all delivered in the house.
It's
The
like
children only wear like the curtains have been turned into their clothing.
It's like dog tooth. There's like different couples have had different children together. So,
it's like a modern no exit.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, there's no actual pandemic going on. It's stopped. It's over, and the world is safe again.
Yeah.
But nobody knows it.
This is all they know.
This Wi-Fi never came back, so we don't know.
And they're all so self-centered and so self-absorbed that they never even question it. They're just still in there bitching and arguing about things and status and whatnot.
At one point when I was writing it, I toyed with having one of the couples be like the mom and dad who are like getting away from their kids. But then it was like, it's a real bummer to know that like they have kids that they can't get to and they're never going to see them again. And I'm like, that's why nowhere in the movie is anyone's family, other than when Tracy mentions her mother. Like no one's family is ever mentioned because you don't want to think about that. You just want to focus on these people.
Way too sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Todd, do you want to talk about the draft where the soldier came into the house?
Yeah. At some point, my producers, who are also on this Zoom call, said to me, maybe we need some more action. Maybe we need to like get them out of the house for a minute. And so I did a draft where when they all get in the car actually works and they leave and they end up picking up a soldier who's like a Army Reserve soldier who's wearing a gas mask named Jeremy. And they take him back to the house and Hetty ends up falling in love with him because he's like super hot. And Shane doesn't like this at all. And then they read it and they were like, yeah, just take that out. That was a bad idea. And I was like, yeah.
This would be a perfect time to shoot this movie, or like reshoot this movie, or like shoot a sequel or something.
I've had people, I've had like theater groups like email me and be like, hey, can I get the script? Me and my theater troupe want to do it because we can't put on performances, but we want to do it over Zoom.
That's
and so
cool.
so I actually have some people have sent me. I'll share them with you guys later. Actually, you want to watch all of one right now? Can I screen share?
It would work as a play too.
It would work great as a play.
Yeah, well, we did the performance at Golden Road a few years ago. That was like our friend Monica directed, that Monica stuffed, and it was like an interactive. A couple of you went. Rachel, I remember you going, where it was like it was all set in a bar. And you were at like an open mic night being run by Buck and Lexi, and you, the audience, were part of the play. And then a couple playhouses have reached out to, and I have a stage adaptation that I've done, and it's pretty much just like a straightforward adaptation that people have reached out to me and I've sent to them, and it's been performed at like little theater companies all over the world.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
If we all quarantined for 14 days, though, we could shoot the sequel.
Let's do it.
I mean,
Do it.
I have a tentative dentist appointment in November. I'm not available.
Not going to happen.
It's the only thing on my calendar.
I think, and also, but Bobby and Laura can be exempt from that 14 days because they don't come inside in the movie. So Bobby and Laura can just live their
Just
life.
lay on the.
You arrive first to die.
You gotta let them in the sequel. I mean, maybe they weren't dead on the steps after all.
I just crawl up as like this jello.
And we shot that like 2 months later, right? That you guys.
Yeah.
And we had already given away all your wardrobes, so we had to go to Goodwill and find clothes that kind of look like your clothes.
The
them laying on the steps. That wasn't originally in the movie, and then we were editing it, and somebody was like, "You know what you should do is you should have him dead on the steps." So we had to go get them and dress them in their costumes that we had already given away. So we had to match what they look like.
It really is one of the funniest scenes when Tracy won't let them in, and she's like,
I love that.
"Are you kidding me? Like, you should be on time." It really makes me laugh very hard.
I have all our family were in the car.
Your children, all your children were in the car.
Jay is asking, were there any other ideas for the ending?
Nope.
Oh, but Todd,
All right, Jay.
What?
Todd, what about remember the little prelude you were gonna do? Like,
I had a post-credit sequence I was gonna do.
I wish you had been able to do it. It was a good idea.
I know,
that?
we just ran out of time. It was gonna cut to me, Hal. I played the neighbor Hal, if you didn't know, audience. And it was just gonna be me in my kitchen, and like I'm a prepper, so it's just like canned goods and shotguns. And it was gonna start with a close-up of a timer, like 3, 2, 1, and then it cuts and you realize it's a microwave, and I'm just making like a Hungry Man TV dinner. And I'm just like in this giant room filled with supplies, and I'm all by myself. And it goes on for like a minute of me just being like,
Why didn't you do it?
we just ran out of time. We had no time. We shot this whole movie in what, 14 days? Like,
something.
we just had
14
no time to shoot anything. So it was even
14
on
of the hottest days on record.
That's right.
And wait, can do you want to describe the in particular the situations in which you shot your scene, and then what happened when you disrobed?
Oh, God.
One of the most disgusting things.
It was like 104 degrees outside, and I was wearing that actual non-ventilated hazmat suit. And it was 104 outside and about 94 degrees inside. And we did the take like a bunch of times, and I was in it for like, I don't know, like half an hour. And if you notice in the movie, my gloves were duct taped on. So I was just like, there was no breathing going on. So then finally we like cut, and they cut the duct tape off, and I took the glove off and just poured sweat.
It was disgusting. It was the most disgusting. It was a glass full of
glass. It was like a pint glass
of sweat that had just, oh my Lord.
You were so skinny the next day.
I've been doing it every day since.
That was disgusting. That was.
Did you put somebody in that suit to come to the door? Is that why you did that? Just so you didn't have to be in it?
Yeah. I didn't want to be in it. If I like when I was not on screen, that wasn't me in the suit. Like when you couldn't see my face, I wanted to be in it as little as possible.
Fair.
And Jace is asking, given the single location and likely short shooting schedule, did you spend some time rehearsing with the cast before shooting? Such good chemistry among cast members.
Wait, is that Jace Recio? Does it
That's
say
Jace.
Recio?
I don't know, no last name, just Jace. That's all I know.
Well, if it's our buddy Jason Austin, then we'll answer.
Okay.
If it isn't, though?
Then no answer. Then no answer.
No, Jace would have asked the question like, Kevin, your singing was so good. Like, have you ever been in any bands? And if so, where is your music available?
Where can you find it? Where is it streamed?
Did we rehearse? I don't remember.
No, there were no rehearsals at all. Like, all of everybody met at a table read at my house like a week before we shot for the first time, and then I told everyone to go on dates, like the 4 couples. I told them all to hang out with each other and go do something, like go to see a show or I don't know, go get drinks, and that was it. And then we showed up on the first day and started shooting, and then.
What
which is not an awkward way to meet people at all, Todd.
Hey.
No, but you guys,
I'm trying to recall.
I scheduled a date with David, and he never showed up. So he told me that you said we didn't need to rehearse, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Was that true?
Yeah, but I didn't want to go to that weird underground thing by the meatpacking district, you know, where you have to it's not bondage, but whatever they call it. I just didn't. That was just too much too soon, Julia.
You guys went back after.
You could have just told me that. You could have just been honest. It's fine. I mean, I waited there for like a good hour. But it's cool. I forgive you.
Well, I mean, if it's a good hour, that's not the worst thing that, you know.
Wait, Julia, didn't you see David before you had met? Maybe I'm thinking the wrong people, but didn't you see him across the street once and you avoided him because you're like, oh, we're going to work on a movie together, but I feel weird saying hello?
That was a secret. Why are you sharing that on Zoom right now?
That was a 9-year secret.
That happened almost daily, and it was literally across the street from my apartment. And I'd come out, and then I'd see her running away, and that happened every single day for a year up until. But to be serious, one thing that I think an important thing that lent itself to the chemistry that we all had was Todd came to us and said, listen, we have very limited budget. We can get a couple of triple bangers, which are, the least luxurious things to be in. They're just like a little room with a stool and a mirror and a seat. Or we can take that money and we can rent a house across the street from where we're shooting, and we can just sort of all be in the house, and that'll be where we do hair and makeup and props live and all that stuff. And, all of us were like, yeah, let's get the house. So we were always together. We never, on so many movies, they go cut, gonna reset, and we'll come back in half an hour or whatever. And everybody just, they're on their phone and they zip to their trailers, and you don't hang out unless you're on set. But we were always hanging out. We did everything together all day. Even, if we weren't in a scene, we were back in the house, and it was great. And we were, spent all our time with each other every day. So that led itself.
There was also the fact that we couldn't shoot at that house. We couldn't get in before 7, and we had to be out at like 7 p.m. on the dot, which usually meant that it was like, hey, you guys want to go get some dinner, or you want to go get a drink? Like you weren't rushing home because we were all so tired and working a 15-hour day. Like, it was a reasonable work day. And then we did so much stuff.
That's so funny, Erinn. I don't remember anyone asking me to go get drinks or dinner after.
Oh, well, I mean, it was like a need to know basis.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't remember it either. That's the thing. For sure.
Just weird. I don't know. I don't.
But also, a fun fact for those of you who don't know is that house across the street that we rented and put everyone in all day, where we did hair and makeup and everything, all of these tour groups started showing up on the first couple days of shooting. And I was like, that's weird. Do they know these big celebrities are here? What are they doing here? And then it turns out it's the house where Marvin Gaye was murdered by his father.
It was his parents' house.
It was his father's house.
And we had to go upstairs. I remember the very first week to change. There was like a bathroom. I don't know if you guys remember this, the top of the stairs. And I remember walking up there and being like, there's something strange about the top floor. I don't know what it is. And then we found out like that's actually right next to where it all happened.
Yeah. It was
like, there's the bullet hole. The guy showed us the bullet hole. It's still there, literally.
Yeah.
There was a bullet hole.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true. Yes.
And
I remember not wanting to walk into that bedroom. Yeah.
It was in the bedroom. The caretaker guy just nonchalantly was like, yeah, there's the bullet hole.
Did someone see a ghost? Am I remembering that correctly?
Well, he used to listen, the guy who owned the house, who may be watching if he is high, he used to listen to Marvin Gaye music.
Like loudly.
Loud.
He interrupted a shooting at one point, right? It was so loud from across the street. And I think I walked over there to find out what was going on, because we thought maybe it was like the spirit of Marvin Gaye had turned on the stereo. And then I'm like, hey, he was playing it from his bedroom upstairs. I had a knock on his bedroom, and I was just like, please just don't let this be something weird. And finally he answered the door like, what? And I was like, oh, you're like cranking music and we can't shoot across the street. And he's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, but that guy had that look behind his eyes where he might have been like half haunted.
Yeah, that man, I don't know if you guys remember, he's a Disney animator. Like, he's animated some of the most classic Disney films. That house had a lot going on.
God, I hope he's watching right now.
It's a beautiful house. I'll give
And
it
he
that.
gardened a lot. Garden.
I remember hanging out on the lawn. We just put a blanket down. It was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Now we do that all the time for social hangouts.
What's everyone's favorite line from the movie? To everybody down the road here.
What's everyone's favorite line?
Yeah, so Tanya wants to know, what is your favorite lines? One of your favorite lines in the movie. and from everyone she wants to answer from.
My favorite line, which most people don't even know is in the movie, is when Jeff's character, Shane, grabs the backpack and says, "I'm getting out of here." And Emma leans over and says, Pete says, "Is that my backpack?" And Emma says, "Yeah." And it's just like the most throwaway line, but it's just like this weird little moment between this couple about his backpack. And most people who just watched the movie probably don't even remember that it was in the movie.
That's so fucking
Watching tonight, I thought Blaise, David seems really funny, but there's this line of, "So wait, Glenn, are you in the apartment rental business? Then why are you calling people to tell them they didn't get an apartment?" Which I thought was hilarious.
I love Julia's line when Laura comes. I mean, that's just a great line. When maybe you shouldn't show up late. That wasn't the line.
That's not even the line.
It's not the line.
Maybe you should learn to show up to things on time. And I was going to say that too, but then I felt like a jerk. But I didn't write the line. It's a credit to Todd.
But also the delivery. It's the very last part of it, where you go. The delivery is, you say it and then you go,
I always loved just that little moment between Buck and Lexi when it's like, "Next time, babe."
That scene is
when they it's so sweet, and she feels so bad that he can't close the deal.
And when David, right before that, when he's like, "So rude."
So rude.
My favorite is when
about the three-way. I forgot about that till tonight when I was watching. I was like, all right. That was very exciting.
My favorite is the when Emma's asking Pete about how the situation with the stereo came on, and it goes from, "Yeah, I got it at Stereo Town." "You went to Stereo Town?" What the fuck are you going to Stereo Town for? Like, Stereo Town's this universally known shithole place to go.
The crazy Eddie of this universe.
Yeah, I do like when, not to say one of my lines, but when Pete's like, and Tracy, if you want to just completely cut me out of your life, Pete, I would never do that. Well, just think about it.
Let's just do the whole script. Let's just do it. I'll screen share the script. Let's just.
What was your, Kevin? The just closing the drapes. Kevin, you remember what was your one? That just closing the drapes. What was it when you're standing up and you get your butt's hanging out?
Closing the air vent.
Oh, closing the air vent. Air vent. Yeah.
So we don't die.
Yeah.
I'm being told I gotta pick up the pace here.
Whoa.
So Isaac asks, "How did casting happen, and was this a group of filmmaking friends, or was everyone individually seen by a casting director?"
A lot of things. Kevin or Jeff, do you want to answer that? I've been talking a lot. You guys are producers on the movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, Kevin and I and Blaise and Todd were all in a comedy group. Todd had this great script. Kevin and I had produced Todd's previous film. And you need more volume, Kevin? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was pointing at the scene.
I was like, I don't know. Look, higher?
Yeah.
And but we had met with Julia. We'd done a couple short films with her, and we thought she'd be really great for Tracy. We reached out to her. She came on board, and then she suggested America, and America suggested David, and it was sort of this little daisy chain of recommendations. And then for a couple of the other roles, we kind of went more traditional casting. But
yeah, Erinn.
Did we audition anybody really?
No, Erinn and Rachel were both our casting director, Hannah Cooper.
Yeah,
Hannah Cooper brought us Erinn and Rachel, and no audition needed.
Yeah.
Plus, they wouldn't do it. So
we told Bobby if he could lose his fucking haggis covered fucking Scottish bullshit accent, then he could have the part. He nailed it. Yeah, he did good.
Yeah, but
I think I did well with my 2 words.
This was kind of covered, but Erinn is asking, has being a part of this film had any effect on your lockdown experience?
I had a funny moment when I was rewatching it tonight. It's Todd, it's your line when someone's asking who has a hazmat suit, and you are standing in your hazmat suit, and you're like, I have a hazmat suit. And one of the first things when all this happened is I got online and was looking up where to get a hazmat suit just to be safe. And so it did make me think of this movie.
Did you get one?
I did. I got one, but it was like an extra large. It's way too big, and it didn't.
Send it my way.
Do you still have it? I want to see a picture of your little body inside.
And it was this white. I found it on Amazon. It's like it's ridiculous, but that was my attempt to protect myself. I remembered your line.
Is it yellow?
It was white. I didn't get the same exact one.
And Lauren M is asking, kind of related, knowing where you are now with the COVID pandemic, how would that have changed how you made this movie, if at all?
Oh,
We
well,
couldn't have
probably-
made it.
Yes.
Hollywood shut down and nobody's worked in, what is it, 7 years now?
yeah, we would have had this.
What I think like the movie gets so right, and I think what was so appealing about the movie was that this feeling of like the world would be ending outside, but people would still be fighting about the stupidest shit. Like the center of your world is still the dumb shit that you care about on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like that's absolutely true. Like terrible shit is happening out in the world, but feels so removed, and you're still just like upset that the dishes aren't done or whatever it is. I feel like the movie, like that was initially what felt like, yeah, this is probably how it would go down. And like pandemic has just proven that to be true.
Thing to see, like people are how truly self-serving people are, like during something like this.
Yeah, there were like 2 weeks there where we all kind of forgot there was a pandemic, and we're all like, remember the pandemic? And now it's back, better than ever.
All right, and the last one from Serena. Did Glenn set off the dirty bomb in the first place?
Serena, interesting theory.
No. No, it's actually a mystery as to when the dirty bomb even goes off. It's not even clear.
Yeah.
Or it isn't a dirty bomb ultimately, right? It's a VX bomb.
Yeah, that's true. It's a VX. Yeah, it's clearly like either a foreign nation who has access to VX nerve gas or a high-ranking terrorist group. It's not your run-of-the-mill homegrown violent extremists, guys. But what's interesting is in 2011, when we shot it in 2012 when it came out, there were a couple like end of the world movies, right? I never even thought of this as an end of the world movie. Like I just thought of this as a bunch of people stuck together and they might die, but it's not like the whole world's gonna die. Because the guys in the Philippines are fine. Like when he gets the call from the Philippines. But at like the end, what was the Seth Rogen one? The end of This Is the End.
Yeah.
And that was like a biblical rapture thing. So this was like a terrorist attack, nuclear attack. That was like a religious thing. And then there was the Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, which was a comet. But no one ever thought of like the pandemic. I don't know, like
virus.
Like the whole like pandemic ending society. I guess there was Contagion, which wasn't funny at all. But
I don't know. The blooper reel is pretty good.
Updates for sure.
Yeah, but that was a weird summer because when this movie came out in theaters, smaller release than some of the other ones, but it was the summer of end of the world comedies, and it actually kind of helped because we got more press just being in all those stories of like, you know, don't go see the Seth Rogen one, go see this one instead.
Wait, Todd, did you ever think there might be a sequel?
Yeah, well, I mean, we had joked when we were doing the festival tour of like, I had joked about maybe it's like 1 year later and it turns out that Hal showed up and he ushered them into their underground bunker and they've all been living in like a Lost style Dharma Initiative bunker under Hal's house. And
they let Glenn in. They let the guy who was going to poison everybody in.
Water under the bridge.
You almost didn't make it. It was like a 4 to 5.
But there could never be a sequel because they all died.
But I
don't know that.
Early, make the big announcement about the sequel tonight.
And now Todd's muted, and that's it.
Have you guys heard of a platform called Quibi? You can watch the sequel 5 minutes at a time if you can find the app.
Aren't people just like self-shooting now and like we send you our footage, Todd, and you'll just edit it together?
Yeah, we could do that. I'll whip something up.
I think the point of this Zoom was, I think this is the sequel, right?
Yeah, let's do it now. I can record this.
Todd, how many hours of children flopping around on a couch? Like, I'm so bored. Do you want?
I have a request though. Can we at least, if it's supposed to be fall or autumn, can we at least shoot it in fall or autumn and not have to wear heavy sweaters and corduroy blazers during a heat wave?
I'll look into it. I'll write
All
that
right,
down.
thank you.
I'll write that down.
Thanks everybody for doing this.
Hey,
And
John, sorry to interrupt. One quick thing. Today is one of our other producers. He's not on the Zoom here, but his name's Brett Thompson. He's one of our producing partners. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Brett.
Happy birthday, Brett.
Happy Brett.
cheers. And cheers to all you guys for coming. And please all come back tonight. Let's do this again in person, the old-fashioned way when we can do that. That'd be great. You're all invited.
Awesome.
Yay.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for watching the
Cheers.
Friday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good to see you guys. It's good to see you.
Picture? Did someone get a picture of this screen?
I took a screen grab.